Hey there, this is probably the last video you will ever need about reactivation campaigns. I'm going to walk you through a 4-day reactivation campaign that you can use to bring it back old customers, get them to book appointments, and hopefully make some serious money. Now, first of all, what is a reactivation campaign? If you don't have a reactivation campaign, you are missing the cheapest and easiest way to make money for your business. It is when you reach out to your old customers, people who haven't used your service in the past 6, 9, or even 12 months, maybe even longer, with a specific offer or a message designed to get them to respond back to you, book an appointment with you again, or serve them again. So they would want you to serve them once more, but it has to be a good enough of an offer or a specific offer that makes them take that action. The reason this works so well is because people who already know you, already trust you, they already have given you money once. So instead of spending hundreds or thousands on Google Ads or Facebook trying to find new customers, you can reach out to the people you have already helped before. And if you want to build a sustainable, profitable local service business, then we absolutely must maximize every single opportunity we have to generate revenue. And there are four main reasons why running this consistently needs to happen if you're serious about growing your business. So number one is cash sitting in your database. Life gets busy. People get busy, they forget, and they get distracted by millions of other things that are competing for their attention. And just because Mrs. Johnson used your plumbing services last year doesn't mean you're on top of her mind when her water heater starts making weird noises. So circumstances change, budgets loosen up, and what wasn't a priority 6 months ago might be urgent today. Number two, it costs zero advertising dollar. You don't need a marketing budget. You don't need to hire an expensive marketing agency. You don't need to figure out Facebook pixels or Google ad bidding strategies. You're already paying for your phone, and you're probably already paying for a text or email messaging service in some capacity. So use what you've got to generate revenue without spending a dime on advertising or without spending it on an agency. Number three, past customers close easier. Someone who's already worked with you knows the quality of your work, and they already trust you. So that makes them infinitely easier to close than a cold lead. So they've seen your trucks, for example. They might have met your technicians. They might have probably been to your location, and they've paid your invoices. If they've had a good experience, then they're basically pre-sold, and you just need to give them a reason to come back again. Number four, it runs on autopilot. Very few things in a business can run on autopilot, and this can entirely, completely run on autopilot and generate you booked appointments week after week. And this is one of those systems that just keep working on the background if you set it up correctly. And you just have to build it once and commit to it running every single month, every quarter, or every year. And there are two reasons why 90% of businesses do not see results with the reactivation campaigns. They either don't do any of this at all, or they send generic, hey, shop with us emails or SMS once a year with no clear offer, no urgency, no specificity, and no reason for them to even take action. They tend to blast their entire database at once with generic sounding messages that comes across pretty much as spammy. So this creates two big problems. It burns your list very, very fast. If your message or offer doesn't work out, you've just burned through your entire customer list in one shot. Now you have to wait months before you can test something else without really annoying the person out or losing them. Number two, you can get overwhelmed. If you blast your whole list at once and it works, you have just been flooded with responses and you can't keep up with every single one. So appointments will then slip through cracks. Your team gets probably overloaded and they're already ready to buy customers who want to go with the offer that you have presented with them will eventually end up disappointed. What can we do that works best? Here's what we have found that works best for local service businesses. Step one is to pull your customer list. Pull together a complete list of all your old customers who used your service in the last 12 to 18 months but haven't booked anything recently. If you're using Service Titan, House Call Pro, Jobber, or even a spreadsheet, export all of that data right now. And you just need the names, phone number, email addresses, and ideally what service they used last time. Step 2 is to then upload it to a CRM. So upload your customer list to a CRM that can send automated text and email campaigns and schedule them. Ideally, you're already using something like Service Titan or HubSpot or even something like Go High Level. And if you don't have a system that can send automated sequences, you can just do it manually, but that is going to be extremely painful and difficult, and I wouldn't recommend it. Just go with a free trial and test out one of these CRMs and automate this process. Step 3 is to create 2 offers. So you're going to create one offer and then another offer. And the first offer is your primary offer. This is where you will get majority of people interested. Then you get another backup offer. And this is where for individuals who did not reply or respond to your primary offer, you send them the backup offer. And this 2 offer strategy is very important because it maximizes your response rate and even customer show up rate. The 2 types of offers that we recommend. Offer 1, we would recommend it to be something like a seasonal maintenance offer. Use a simple, low-cost maintenance or inspection offer to re-engage past customers and get them back on site without asking them for a major commitment. The goal is to make it easy for them to say yes, and while giving you a chance to identify real revenue opportunities. It is low friction, so customers are more willing to book a quick checkup than a big project. It is high value. You are providing something genuinely useful, so it could be a tune-up, an inspection, or an assessment. And it has a natural upsell pathway. So once you're there, you can uncover real issues that could lead to profitable work. And examples of this being done really well is by Jiffy Lube. So they use a low-cost oil change to naturally reveal upsells like air filters or fluid services. And Stanley Steamer, they tend to start with a carpet cleaning service as a front-end offer, then identify opportunities for upholstery like tiles, air duct cleaning, and any other cleaning services that would give them a higher return on their investment. And the aim is to basically get them through the door for cheap or free and deliver massive value and identify real problems and close the real work. Offer 2 is what we call the backup offer, and this is where you can provide them a service discount. So your second offer needs to be a service discount or a limited time deal sent later in the campaign as a last ditch offer. Maybe they don't want any inspection, but they need a specific service done right now. Offer something like 20% off your next service or $100 off over $500, or book this week and save 15%. The most important thing here is that you're creating urgency and scarcity, and this isn't about open-ended offers that can be done anytime. This is the type of offer that you do this week only. Once you've got your offer locked in, you're going to set up a 4-day reactivation sequence. It is important to know that you're only sending this to 50 to 75 customers per day. And this is called a drip campaign because you're slowly dripping it out over time instead of flooding everyone at once. And this prevents overwhelm and it gives you time to handle responses properly while testing what works. And here is exactly what your drip campaign would look like. I'm just going to show you a step-by-step process of what you can literally do right now. Make a trigger. This is where you have added the tag of reactivation to all of your previous customers that you want to reach out to. Then you have day 1. This is all about the announcement and offer. But before that, you need to make your action trigger called drip mode. This is where you will contact 50 to 75 customers or clients per day instead of all of them at once. Then you put the interval at 1 day so it is executed once a day. For example, on day 1, you can connect with 50 to 75 customers. On day 2, you can connect with another 50 to 75 new people. But you also follow up with the first group. In this situation, we have around 60 people that we want to connect with. Next, you send 3 text messages which are back to back. The first one is a quick, friendly reintroduction, something like this example shown. Then you wait 1 minute and send the second text. The second text goes out with the center of the offer, like this example shown. Then 1 minute after that, you send the third text, like this example. And the reason we have 3 text messages is because it creates a conversational flow that feels personal and urgent without being pushy, and it doesn't feel like spam. Then about 90 minutes after those texts, you send one email that goes into more detail about the offer, that explains the value, includes some social proof if you have it, and has a clear call to action to book. And that is for day 1. Next, we will go to day 2. And day 2 is the follow-up for the first group and launch for the second group. For the people who got the campaign on day 1 and have not yet replied back to you, you are following up with one text message saying this example. At the same time, you are sending one email saying the same thing as your previous text on day 2, like this example. If you want to make the email better, reintroduce the offer again, add urgency, and then remind them of the deadline. And because this is in drip mode, at the same time, you're launching the full day 1 sequence to a new batch of 50 to 75 customers so that you can fully work on both group 1 and group 2. Then we go to day 3. Day 3 is where you can switch to your backup offer for the first group. For the people who got the campaign on day 1 and haven't responded yet, you're now pivoting to the backup offer. You send 2 text messages, so the first text can look something like this. The second text 1 minute later can look something also like this example. So you can just pause the video and look at this example. And we do not need to send any email on day 3. Just those 2 texts should be enough to create urgency and give them one last shot. And while this is running at the same time, you're following up with the day 2 group and launching the sequence to a new batch. So next we go to day 4, and this is the final follow-up for the first group. And you will send one last text message if you still had no reply from your customers. And the text message can look something like this. And that said, this is probably the simplest way you can do a reactivation campaign right now if you had to start somewhere. And now I will explain why this is all done in this specific order. Now you might be thinking, isn't this too much, or will they not hate this? And our response is, if you believe that it is too much or that they will hate you, you will find that around 97% of people won't even notice the frequency. And the ones that do notice are the ones actually paying attention to your offer, which is a good thing. So we have found out that testing fewer messages will tend to lead to lower response rates by at least 30%. The golden spot tends to be around 7 texts and 3 emails over 4 days. This would be enough to get a response, and they wouldn't be annoyed by it either. And you will never create any hate as long as you are creating some value, with each message being slightly different and adding a slightly different new information. You're not saying the same thing over and over again or pestering them. You're actually helping them out. Without some urgency, people will think and say, I'll look at it later, and then they'll forget about you. So here are 6 urgency tactics that you can use to make them respond. The first one is limited time deals. You can use examples like this offer expires on Friday at midnight, only available this week, or offer ends at a specific date. The second is limited spots or capacity. You can include examples like we only have 10 inspection slots available this week, or the first 15 people to respond get this rate, or once we're booked, that's it. The third could be seasonal urgency. So you could include examples like before summer hits and your AC is working overtime, or winter is coming, last chance to get your furnace checked before the cold hits, or spring cleanup season, book up fast. The fourth can be price increase warning. So after this week, we're going back to regular pricing, or this is the last time we're offering this rate, or it could be normally $150, but this week only it is complimentary. The fifth could be consequence-based urgency. So, for example, catch small problems before they become expensive ones, or waiting until it breaks is a way more expensive than maintaining it, or the longer you wait, the worse and more expensive it gets. And finally, we have social proof urgency. So you can include something like, we've already had 12 people book this week, or spots are filled up fast, or most of our past customers have already grabbed theirs. And the key is to stack two or three of these together. For example, we are doing free furnace inspections this week only for past customers. We've already had 8 people book, and we only have about 7 slots left before we are at capacity. After this week, inspections go back to $89. Don't wait until the first cold night and your furnace dies on you. This is technically a summary of your drip campaign. So if you have a list of 600 people and you're sending 50 people per day to your offer, that will give you around 12 days to work through the entire list. And by the time you finish, you can start over with a different offer, or wait a month or two and then run the same campaign again. But what can you expect from your campaigns now? So here is what I have found in my research of what other companies have also found on theirs, and what you can expect as average values or numbers. First, you can expect a reply rate of somewhere between 10 to 20% of the people you contact. That means if you send it to 100 people, you should get between 10 and 20 responses back. Not all of them are going to be yes. Some of them might be not right now, or some of them might be take me off your list. But getting replies is the first step to finding the yeses. Second, you can expect to book somewhere between 3% and 7% of your list into actual appointments. So if you're sending it to 200 people, you should realistically book between 6 and 14 appointments. Not everyone who says yes will actually book, and not everyone who books will show up. But this gives you a realistic range. Third, you can expect to close around 1% to 3% of your list into paying jobs that generate actual revenue. So if you send this to 200 people again, you should close somewhere between 2 and 6 jobs. Now, depending on your average ticket price, this could lead to a few $1,000s or tens of thousands of dollars. And there is one realistic expectation to consider. If you have an old customer list that you haven't touched in the past 3 or even 4 years, and those customers had a mediocre experience with you, you're probably not going to see the same exact results. You might get a 5% reply rate and 1 or 2 jobs, which is still better than nothing. But if you've been delivering a solid and good experience, and you just haven't been proactive about staying in touch, this should produce huge returns. And here is a last slide for people who stayed this far. 3 bonuses. And the first hack number is personalization. If you know what service they used last time, for example, reference it in your messages. You can include something like, hey, John, you used us for the first water heater replacement last year. Just wanted to check in and make sure everything is still running smoothly. This little bit of personalization makes a huge difference in response rate, because people tend to forget about you or your brand, but they are at times way more likely to remember the service they used. Hack number 2, use your name. Don't send messages from ABC Plumbing or your company name, send them from you personally. And you can say something like, hey, it's Mike from ABC Plumbing. So it feels like a real person is reaching out to them instead of a automated message. And people respond to people, not brands. So especially in local service businesses where relationships matter, this simple change would make you get way higher response rates. Hack number 3, run this consistently. So you should be running some version of this every single quarter. As new customers come in and age out of active status, they automatically get added to just this reactivation list. This becomes a machine that always is running in the background, always generating appointments, and always bringing in revenue. While your competitors are probably spending $50 or $100 or even $200 per lead on Google or Facebook ads, you're reactivating your old customers for free. And now it's your turn. You now have a complete 4-day reactivation campaign blueprint that you can implement in your business starting today. Set it up once, run it consistently, and watch the booked appointments roll in. And this is one of the highest ROI activities you can possibly do today. If you found this valuable, hit the like button, drop a comment telling me what type of local business you're running, or what is the biggest challenge you're facing right now. And don't miss out the next video, because I'm going to dive into how local service businesses can adapt in 2026?